بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله. الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه الصلاة والسلام. قال تعالى في القرآن المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول ولا تبطلوا أعمالكم. قال رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه الصلاة والسلام: عليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين من بعدي، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. صدق الله وصدق الرسول، ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاهدين والشاكرين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. Alhamdulillah, we are now in lesson number 17 concerning the wisdom of actions. Basically, in these series, I am now discussing how laws are made, how laws are formulated, and all what we see in our textbooks, in our books of diniyat, jurisprudence, how these laws came about. These great scholars of Islam, the mujtahideen, like Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayh, Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayh, Imam Malik rahmatullah alayh, Imam Hanbal rahmatullah alayh, how they went about formulating these laws, deducing these laws. Basically, we from the Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat, we utilize four sources: the Quraan, the Sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu ta'ala alayhi salatu wasalam. We will explain, when we refer to the Sunnah as a source of derivation, it does not only apply to the Sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but also of Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in and Tabi'in. And then we have got Ijma, and fourthly Qiyaas. Alhamdulillah, to some extent we have explained Quran as a source of derivation. In lesson 15 and 16, Alhamdulillah, we have discussed about the Quran, how it is utilized as a source. Alhamdulillah, that as far as the Sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam is concerned, we have to realize that the farais of Islam, they are like the foundations of Islam. In a building we have the foundation, and then we have the structure. The foundation of Islam obviously are the aqaid and the farais, the obligatory activities like salat, hajj, zakat, fasting. These are the farais, and the value of the farais cannot be disputed. However, we should understand clearly that the enemies of Islam, the rejectors and deniers and objectors against Islam, they will be constantly against the Sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Their target for criticism, their target for objection will be the blessed Sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The Sunnah stands upon the farais, and it is displayed, and the people will not object of a person fasting, a person praying, a person going for pilgrim, a person giving charity. This, if you notice, that other people are doing this, and other religions are doing it, other denominations are also doing it. Yes, obviously we have got our own methodology as Muslims of salat, of hajj, of fasting, Saum, of zakah, but they are also giving charity. They are also fasting in whatever way they are doing it. They also go to places for pilgrimage, and they also pray in their ways. But the distinguishing factor is the sunnat of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What lies in the sunnat of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam distinguishes us from every other nation, religion, denomination, because the sunnat is unique, and the sunnat is a speciality of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when we discuss the special features of Ummah of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we will be able to understand how special the Ummah is because of the speciality of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because of the speciality of the Sunnat of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, if a person does not act upon the Sunnat of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then indirectly the farais loses value, because people will not come to know of the farais, because the sunnat is the structure, and the sunnat is visible, and the sunnat is standing on the farais, and it is visible, apparent, and people from all walks of life see it. Whereas the farais, like the foundation and the aqaid, is a hidden thing. Yes, alhamdulillah, when a person begins to perform the farais in the sunnat method, then the farais becomes nur ala nur, and people are able to now value both the farais and the sunnat. Hazrat Huzaifa bin Yaman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he witnessed an elderly person performing salat, and obviously that person was not making the salat in a proper manner. Why? Because Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam has clearly stated that salat is supposed to be performed like how when you see him performing it, then you perform it like that. But this person obviously was not doing it like that. Hazrat Huzaifa asked him that how long you performing salat in this manner? And he said for 40 years. So Hazrat told him that, see, if you die in this condition, then by Allah you will not die on the way of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now this pertains to everything, not only the salat aspect, but this refers to each and every aspect of our ibadat. Unfortunately, what has happened, that we have taken ibadat as only salat. Oh, we have extended it to hajj and fasting. Most people don't even regard zakat as an ibadat. Whereas Imam Ghazali Rahmatullah Alayhi has clearly stated that there are 10 avenues and aspects of ibadat. The testification of the kalima, performance of salat, the giving of zakat, the going for hajj, the performance and adherence to fasting, enjoining what is good, forbidding what is evil, business transactions, the makulat, what we eat, the political transactions that we make, all these things, muamalat, ma'asharat, akhlaq, the character, personality, social interaction, all encompass ibadat. Unfortunately, these days, that we have restricted the definition of ibadat to salat, and as long as we are in the masjid, then we are Muslims. We in the Jamaat Khana, we are Muslims. We are on the Musalla, we are Muslims. No sooner we leave the masjid, Jamaat Khana or the Musalla, then we forget that we are Muslims. That is why you will find that many a person, he has this ideology and philosophy in mind that I can do whatever I want to. I can eat haram, drink haram, steal, deceive, lie, break the promises, break the pledges, and involve myself in gambling and interest and womanizing and drinking of alcohol. Do every wrong activity, indulge in everything, listening to music, and all heinous sins are done. But when it comes to Salat, I must go and make my Salat. I'll be classified as a good Muslim and I'll be noted as a good Muslim. Then after that in the night, whether I'm playing bridge or poker, whether I am gambling, that doesn't matter. As long as I am performing my Salat, inshallah, that Salat will eventually, if that Salat is performed in a proper manner, then that person will be eventually drawn out of the sin, irrespective of what sin that person is perpetrating. But remember that because of our limited definition of ibadat and restricted it to salat, we are not spiritually progressing as Muslims. And also, that is why you will find that families and members, they are regular in their salat, let alone regular that they will occupy the first safs in the salat. But when it comes to their weddings and their functions and their dinings and their eatings, you will find that the last sin is being done. Music, photography, videoing, nudity, semi-nudity, pornographical jokes being made, intermingling of sexes, atrocious dressing, dancing, and the last sin being done in any given function is being done by us, because we have separated this and we have regarded, no, Islam must stay in the masjid, it mustn't come out, and it must not influence us. Whereas the Sunnah and the way of Islam has to effect and perpetrate every action of us, every action of ours, from the time we get up till the time we sleep, has to be under the supervision of Islam, Sunnah of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Whether it is buying or selling, whether it is interaction with the family, whether it is business, whether it is talking on the phone or the cell phone, whether it is meeting or greeting a person, whether it is attending any function, whether it is having a function, whether it be the marriage or the divorce, whether it be going to the masjid or coming out of the masjid, whether it is interacting with the poor and the needy and the destitute, whether it be smiling even at a person, everything has to come under the unique way, the special way of the Sunnah of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And when this person begins to act upon all the aspects of Islam, then Allah Jalla Majdahu will take work from the person. Many you will find a knowledgeable person, many a talented person, many a clever and a brilliant person, that Allah Jalla Majdahu is not taking work from him or her. Why? Because that person, look carefully, is only acting upon what suits that person. Our view should be and our attitude should be that all aspects of Islam, whether it is small or big, and basically divide it into two categories: the hukukullah and the hukukul ibad, the right of Allah and the right of creation, mankind. These two have to be running parallel. Like how we keep stressing that the internal must be like the external and the external must be like the internal, that the internal must equal the external must equal the internal. There must be a balance between the internal and the external, and between the external and the internal. Just like that, that a person, he must not falter. There is the hukukullah and the hukukul ibad, the right of Allah and the right of mankind. A person must not give preference of one over the other. He must run balanced. And when he strikes this balance, then Allah Jalla Majdahu will take work from such a person. And generally, the hukukullah is individualistic in nature. And generally, the hukukul ibad, the right of creation, mankind, is collective in nature. So we should be very cautious about this and understand the value and significance of the sunnat of Nabi Akram sallallahu ta'ala alayhi salatu wasalam. Remember clearly that we are from the Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat, meaning that we adhere to the Quraan, the Sunnat of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in are the guiding stars, and we adhere to their methodology and ways and their statements and their beliefs and their practices. When we look at the grave questioning, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has posed for us 3 questions, that Man Rabbuka, Ma Dinuka, Maza Taqulu fi Hazi Rajul, that what is your deen, who is your Rabb, and what do you say about this personality, Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If you look at it, this is our entire deen. The entire knowledge of deen is here too. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has posed these 3 questions. Obviously, that our final examination, these 3 questions are so important. Why they are so important, we can also mention it here. That why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has only asked us these 3 questions, why no other questions? Because if you look at this, it is a questioning about who is our Rabb. Man Rabbuka, who is your Rabb? And if you look, when we start our Surah Fatiha, our Salat, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Allah Jalla Majdahu, He is utilizing the sifat, the quality, the attribute of Rububiyat, of Rabb, of Creator, Nourisher, Provider, Sustainer. As soon as He opens Qur'an Kareem, closing of Qur'an Kareem, Rabbun Nas, that the Rabb of mankind. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's message is for mankind, for guidance and hidayat of mankind, addressed to mankind, for salvation of mankind. And we have to recognize that ilm that does not recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in reality ilm. Remember, there are 3 things. One is ilm, and one is malumat, and one is funun. Funun, sciences. Malumat, information, data. Ilm is the reality and the one that we should be seeking. Ilm is the ilm of Rabb. We have been sent here on surface of earth to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and every knowledge that leads to the recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is ilm in reality. Any information or data or science that does not lead to the recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in reality it is not ilm per se, but it is information, it is sciences. We have confused knowledge, ilm, with malumat, that is information. And further, that we have mixed up and we have immersed sciences into knowledge. Science is different. The knowledge of science is different, and the knowledge of Allah is different. There is no harm in learning these sciences, provided these sciences are permissible in nature. There is no harm in it. There is no harm in becoming a doctor, an engineer, a professional person. There is no harm in that. In fact, we Muslims should be striving and thriving and becoming good surgeons and good doctors and good legal personalities and honest businessmen. All sciences and trades and profession, we should be participating in it and striving forward in it. But we must know clearly that that is not the purpose Allah Jalla Majdahu has sent us. Allah has sent us that we recognize Him, and we can recognize Him by following the sunnat of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The more the sunnat of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam we have in us, the better for us and easier for us to recognize Allah Jalla Majdahu. The sunnat is so important that a person cannot gain the proximity of Allah without the sunnat. A person cannot get the nearness of Allah without the sunnat. A person cannot get the pleasure of Allah without the sunnah. The person cannot get the grace and boons of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and mercy of Allah being showered upon him without the sunnah. That is why the ulama have recorded that if a person is coming flying on the air, walking on the water, but he is discarding the sunnah, he cannot be a wali, he cannot be a saint. A saint, a wali of Allah, can never ever become a wali, can never ever be a wali if he discards the sunnat of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. No sunnat, no proximity. No sunnat, no wilayat. Because the whole purpose of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's being and personality and character is that we see it, study it, and even if we do not understand its philosophy and wisdoms, we act upon it. Because in the sunnah lies our salvation. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the grave, is asking by the angels that who is the Rabb? Who is our Rabb? And then that what is the deen? Because the deen, remember these three questions about the third one about Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam are so interlaced and intertwined that the whole of deen is in these three questions. Because to understand who is our Rabb, we have to follow a deen. And this deen will be learned by adhering to the sunnah and adhering to the way of who? Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is there, sent by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And if we follow the sunnah, we will be able to act upon the deen. And when we act upon the deen, we will know who our Rabb is. So the entire deen lies in those three questions. That is why Allah Jalla Majdahu is giving us these three questions to answer. Because if we in reality recognize the weight of these three questions, then we will know and prepare for it. How fortunate we are that Allah Jalla Majdahu has given us our exam paper beforehand. All of us have written some examination or another in our lifetime. What preparations we make for it. And there, the questions are unknown. Yeah, Allah Jalla Majdahu has given us the questions beforehand. We have got this advantage. And then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has given us the answers to it. And thirdly, He has given us the methodology of passing it to. How beautiful is the deen of Islam, that we have been given the question paper, we have been given the answer, and also we have given how we can learn and study and how we can prepare and pass those examination questions. Simply by adhering to the way of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the sunnat of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and thereby we will be able to understand our deen. That is why it is said, Udkhulu fi silmi kafa, that enter into submission, into obedience in totality, wholly, not half-heartedly, partially. The difficulty that we are experiencing all over the world, locally, nationally, internationally, is non-adherence of the Sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As a result, we are not identifying ourselves as the ummati of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Once we realize that we are a ummati of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we'll be able to honor the dignity, status, the position of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we will be able to act upon Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam's way. And when we identify ourselves as ummati first, not as a doctor, a lawyer, a maulana, a mufti, a shaykh al-hadith, or any professional man, businessman, no, that we should honor ourselves by the title of ummati, then I am a doctor, ummati, then I am a lawyer, ummati, then I am a professional man or a businessman, a trader, or a imam, or a mufti, or a maulana. And then when we start acting as a ummati, crying before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a ummati, and looking like a ummati, that is important. That throughout the entire world, wherever we have got Muslims in trouble, difficulty, this is actually not so much difficulty as recorded what is to come. So if we, first of all, we have to recognize the importance of Sunnah, then act upon it, plead as the ummati, and then leave the matter unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember, for the help of Allah, we do not require arms and ammunition. For the help of Allah, we do not require the atom bomb or hydrogen bomb. For the help of Allah, we don't require the aircraft fighters, or we do not require chemical warfare. For the help and aid and support of Allah, we do not require so-called weapons of mass destruction. For the help of Allah, we require that we act upon the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we give the da'wat. We give the da'wat to everybody, Muslim, non-Muslim, and then we place everything in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here is a lengthy discussion, some other time I will make it, that how Sahaba Ikram radiallahu ta'ala anhu ajmain, when on the instruction of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever they went, they told the public there, Aslim taslim, accept Islam, you'll be at ease and peace and comfort. Or you pay the jizya. If you do not pay the jizya, then you have rejected the da'wat. You have rejected the da'wat on two grounds. One, by accepting Islam. Secondly, by coming under the protection of the Muslim and coming under the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's law. Now when you have rejected the da'wat of peace on two grounds, thirdly, get ready, because now you are going to face the wrath of Allah, the anger of Allah, the displeasure of Allah. Now you are going to face the effects of da'wat of Allah. So all these things are important in order for us to draw from the mercy and treasures of Allah. So the second source of derivation is the sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this was a preamble to get us ready to understand the technicalities of the sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because once we understand the beautiful sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we understand the ramifications of the sunnah, we will be able to perform and act upon it. Remember that this second source of derivation in Islam is the sunnah. But what is the sunnah? According to the Arabic language, the meaning of sunnah is well known. It is said that a person has initiated a good sunnah or an evil sunnah. he has begun a good or evil trend. So sunnah will be a way, a pattern, a norm. And this could be either good, meaning a good sunnah, or a bad, or bad sunnah. Allama Zamakhshari says, a certain person has initiated a good sunnah. That means he has started a good practice. Or a certain person has followed a sunnah. He has practiced upon it. So that which is practiced upon is classified as a sunnah. And Allama Ibn Mansur Afriki has stated that sunnah refers to and can be defined as seerah, character, be it good or evil. See, a person's character, personality can be good or bad. A person can be doing good works or evil things. Gambling, womanizing, drinking, fornication, lesbianism, hating, killing, murdering, lying, deceiving. But it is the sunnah of that person. It is the way of that person. On the other hand, a person can be doing, as far as his character is concerned, having good character, akhlaq hamida, good character traits, and those will be laudable. It is stated in Lisanul Arab, if any person initiates any action, and the people after him continue on this practice, then it is said that so and so has started this sunnah. Whether that practice is good or bad, but the person initiated it, started it, commenced it, then we will say that that is sunnah, sunnah of so and so, sunnah of the so and so. And sunnah is that path whereupon the first people tread, such that it becomes an established way for those who follow. It is said that a certain person has initiated a certain action. When someone begins a good action, whereof the masses are unaware, and which they follow after seeing him doing it. So basically we are understanding that the literal definition of sunnah is an action or way, which is followed up for the latter generations, or that which the people have opted for. In other words, sunnah is that path which is followed and imitated. Based on this, sunnah is best described as a path which is followed. This would refer to both a good and evil path. Those who have stated it as a good action merely state so by the way of example and illustration. A sunnah is not necessarily attributed to only a good act. In Quraan and Hadith, it is used in both texts and contexts. As for attributing it to a good, Allah says the sunnah of those Anbiya we have sent before you in Surah Isra. In context of evil, Allah says in Surah Hajr, in this way we place in the hearts of the evildoers. They do not bring iman in the Prophet. Indeed, the way sunnah of the previous nations have been laid out. Similarly, the word sunnah has been used in both contexts in one hadith. The hadith is, whosoever initiates a good sunnah, for him is its reward, and the reward of whosoever follows it, without their reward be diminished in the least bit. And whoever initiates an evil sunnah, for him will be the punishment thereof, and the punishment of those who follow it, without their punishment being decreased in the least bit. That is why, for example, it is stated about the evil act of Qabil. Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, referring to that, has stated that every murder that is created, the sin thereof is now added upon the sin of Qabil, who initiated the act of murder. Similarly, if a person does a good and people follow it, then all those who act upon it, they are rewarded. And the person who initiated it, his reward does not diminish. He is also given the reward. Now, what is the meaning of Sunnat in Islam? It has been established above that the literal definition of Sunnat is a path which is followed. Now, keeping this in mind, the Sharia definition of Sunnat would be a path which is followed in Deen. So in Deen, that path that is followed is classified as a Sunnat. There are two differences. Number one, since there is only goodness in Deen, and it is the very antithesis of evil, the meaning in this context would only refer to a good Sunnah. Remember, because the whole of Deen, the whole of Shariah, the whole of Islam, the whole Sunnah, the whole pattern of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is only good, entirely good, totally good. So that means that is good. The Sunnah will be only good. Since the word Sunnah refers to the following someone, hence in the context of Deen, it would refer to only following those people whom the Shariat wants us to follow. If the Shariat tells us follow Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which the Shariat has told us, we will follow. And now we will come to realize that besides Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the blessed Sharia is telling us to follow others. We will have to identify who are the others whom the Shariat wants us to follow. When we identify whom the Shariat wants us to follow, then we, to become good, righteous, pious Muslims, will adhere to that. Because remember, the Quraan will tell us and has told us, follow Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the Quraan, if they tell us follow the Sahaba, which that has been done, then we will follow that. Now the question arises, what type of people does the Shariat advocate us to follow? Firstly, Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it is stated in Quraan Majid, there is indeed for you a uswatul hasana in Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, for those who desire Allah and the last day. So Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala is directly telling us that we should adhere to the Sunnah of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So who should we follow? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And who told us to do that? Qur'an Kareem. Secondly, Sahaba Ikram. It is stated in Qur'an Majid, if they bring Iman the way you people have brought Iman, then they will also be guided right. This ayat addresses Sahaba Ikram. It is reported in the Hadith where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, my Sahabas as Sahabi kan nujum, my Sahabas are like the stars. Whomsoever you follow, you will be rightly guided. So Alhamdulillah, our Shariat is very easy, very systematic, and there is no doubt or dubious nature in it. Allah Jalla Majdahu is saying follow Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Allah Jalla Majdahu is saying follow Sahaba Ikram. Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying follow Sahaba Ikram. So we are not left in the dark. If you ask any other person, he does not know who to follow. And that is the major catastrophe of most of the people on the surface of the earth, that they do not know who to follow. If you ask a person that who must he follow, that is why unfortunately he's got so many tons of heroes in his life. Every other person is a hero in his life. Whether it's film star, male, female, whether it is soccer star, male, female, whether it be a movie star, male, female. Now the person does not even know how many heroes he got, he does not even know who to follow. Because remember, for a guided person, you have to have some direction in life. And we Muslims, we have got Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam to follow by his sunnat and the sunnat of the Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. And why that? If you ask a person who is not a Muslim that who does he follow, he may give some name. But that person will not be able to substantiate what to do in every aspect of life. That is why in every speech of ours we keep saying the Shariat is easy, the Shariat is perfect, the Shariat is complete. Life of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam is nothing hidden. Everything has been written, and so much has been written that upon no other personality so much has been written. So every aspect, every move, from sunrise to sunset, from the time of getting up to going to sleep, whether it be on the battlefield as a father, grandfather, as an uncle, everything of his is stipulated. How to eat, walk, talk, spit, how to go to toilet, how to have a relationship, how to interact, how to buy, sell. Everything is stipulated, everything is complete. In any other person's life, if any other person of any other religion say I follow so and so, he cannot tell you that person did he act in a particular manner in a particular situation. Of practicality, we have got our deen as a practical, logical deen which is complete from every angle. And here Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, as-sahabi kan nujum, that follow Sahaba because they are like stars. Now certain people, they are misguided. A person will be misguided for various reasons. And one is when a person got no knowledge. Secondly, when a person got little knowledge. And thirdly, when a person got corrupt knowledge. Because he's got a warped mind, perverted mind, and a person does not how to properly interpret the text. And many people you will find that they would like to contest every other hadith by saying zaif, weak, fabricated, concocted. And when they say weak, they will give you the impression that it is concocted and fabrication. When they say weak, they will confuse the listener that he will hear this word weak being so viciously said and pronounced that the hearer will think that I'm hearing the word fabricated and concocted, although that person doesn't even realize he's talking about weak and he does not know how to define the word weak. And understand this principle, that when you find a person who is lacking in knowledge and classifying every other hadith as weak, zaif, he may be himself posing as a scholar or a great thinker in Islam. Then you hold him by the hand and you ask him one very simple question, that you're talking about the hadith and you're saying that the hadith is zaif. Could you please define zaif? And immediately when he uses the word weak to translate zaif, know that this person knows nothing about hadith. Because zaif is an Arabic word which has got special connotations. In a book of ours which we have translated, it is called an objection against Fazail Amal and a principal analysis of it. The original is by Maulana Muhammad Maruf, an Ustad of Darul Deoband, where we have made the translation of a detailed discussion about the word dhaif. And concerning this hadith, as-sahabi kan nujum, then we know clearly that from the research of Allama Sayyid Palampuri, the Shaykh al-Hadith of Darul Deoband, that in a book called Necessity of Taqleed, you will find on my website alislam.co.za, where he academically analyzes the various chain of narrators concerning this hadith as Sahabi Nujum, and he discusses it from various angles to prove that this hadith is no way weak, as the people wrongly translate the word dhaif as. And he gives validity and reliability via authenticated, perfect, reliable research, which is academic in nature, that this hadith is good. Now we come to realize that there is the sunnat of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the sunnat of the Khulafa Rashidin, and also the sunnat of the Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajmaeen, and then the sunnat of the Tabi'een. And also we have got what we call the sunnat, the tawatur amal, the continuous practice amongst the Sahaba as a proof in Shariat. So when we, as from the Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat, when we say the Quran, the Sunnah does not only refer to the Sunnat of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it is extended to the Sunnat of the Khulafa Rashidin, the Sunnat of the Sahaba, and the Sunnat of the Tabi'een, and also the Sunnat of the Tabi'een who are knowledgeable, reliable and pious. That which I have said we will now expound. Firstly, the Sunnat of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said in the hadith which is in Mustadrak ibn Hakim, I have left for you two things, which if you hold fast onto, you'll never be deviated. That means you'll never be misguided. What are those two things? Kitabullah wa Sunnat Rasul. So here is our guiding light. Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saying, Taraktu fikum amrain, that I have left amongst you two things, Kitabullah wa Sunnati. That the Kitab of Allah, the Qur'an Kareem, and the Sunnat of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This hadith stated here on the plains of Arafat as a guideline for us. Then, secondly, Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Alaykum bi sunnati wa sunnatul khulafai rashideen, that hold fast, that binding upon you, hold firmly upon my sunnat and the sunnat of khulafai rashideen, the rightly guided khulafai rashideen, namely Hazrat Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, Ali. Now, see how methodological this is, how systematic this is, and how simple this is. The Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said follow him. And Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam is now giving the certification of following to Sahaba Ikram, Khulafai Rashideen. The Sunnat of the Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in, Hazrat Abdullah ibn Masud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu stated, whosoever wishes to follow any Sunnah, then he should opt for the Sunnah of that person who has passed away. Because there is no certainty regarding the living not falling into fitna. And who are those who have passed away? They are the companions of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This is golden statement, golden rule, golden principle, which we have lost. And when we have lost it, we have moved into the direction of innovation, bidah. Because here, great Sahabi, Hazrat Abdullah ibn Masud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, whom Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam made dua for, and the Hanafi fiqh, when you trace his chain, it goes and link up to Hazrat Abdullah ibn Masud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And what he says, whoever wishes to follow any sunnah, then he should opt for the sunnah of that person who has passed away, meaning the companions of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So our reliance has to be on the Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. Because Alhamdulillah, they have been given the certification that Allah is happy with them and they are happy with Allah. They have been given the certification of Jannah. And they have been given the certification that Allah and Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam are happy with them. And when Allah and Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam are happy, then inshallah they will remain happy with Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajmain. Since the statements and the actions of the Sahaba are regarded as Sunnah, Hazrat Sayyid ibn Musayyib has listed a certain masala as Sunnah, and it is stated in Maqsood that here is the ruling. We mean the Sunnah of Hazrat Sayyid Zayd bin Sabit. So as proof, he just says that this is the Sunnah of the Sahabi, and that is regarded as sufficient proof. Then we have got the Sunnah of the Tabi'een. The action, the way, manner of a Tabi'i or anyone who comes after them cannot be termed as a Sunnah as would be the statement of Nabi Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or any Sahabi. However, because of a hadith that we generally hear it every khutbah on the Friday, that خير قرون كرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم, the best of errors is my time, then the subsequent one, then the subsequent one. Now because of this statement, Imam Malik and Imam Awza'i were of the opinion that the Tabi'een also are regarded of worthy of following. Tabi'een, the followers of the Sahaba. Tabi'een, the followers of the Sahaba. And we can make out of from this that the crux of the matter is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should follow Qur'an Kareem. Sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Sunnah of Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajmayin. And by this we mean clearly the ways and the actions and what belief they held forms part of the Sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Now the Tabi'eens, as per this hadith, خير قروني كرني, Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam is saying, by this we can also realize that the way of Sahaba is a testimony and proof and authenticity and reliability of their actions becoming part and parcel of Deen. And then Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam is saying, ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ, thereafter, subsequent ones, the Tabi'een, that their actions also, because remember, Sahaba, they are the students of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and Tabi'eens, they are the students of the Sahaba. Then we have got what we call the continual practice of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The meaning of tawatur amali is that a certain practice is continued and practiced on by large group of people right from the time of Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and in every subsequent era until the present time. Owing to this continual chain, it would be absurd and impossible to regard all of them to be liars. Although there are many actions which have come to us through tawatur amali, like the use of miswak, the 5 daily farz salat, the rakats of salat, the sequence of qiyam, ruku, sijda. However, to establish any act as sunnah, it is not necessary for it to be only tawatur amali. It is stated in the hadith from Hazrat Bilal bin Haris al-Muzani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, he who revives a sunnah from amongst my sunnah, which has died after me, after my departure, will receive the reward of all those who practice upon it, without their reward be diminished in any least. So Alhamdulillah, we can see how important it is that we adhere to the way of the Sahaba, that there are so many things that are not recorded in the Hadith, but we follow it. We regard it as Sunnah. That is why we are repeatedly saying these words, that we are from the Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat, not Ahl Hadith. Because the whole of Sharia is not contained only in the Hadith. If a person says that no, I only follow Quran and Hadith, there is another group that say only I follow Quran and Bukhari. Another group says no, I only follow Quran and Bukhari and Muslim. Another group says no, I only follow Quran and 6 authentic books of Hadith. Another group says no, we only follow Quran and any authentic Hadith. That is not sufficient. Why? Because all these things that we have just mentioned, by way of example, use of miswak, 5 daily salah, rakats of salah, sequence of qiyam, ruku, sijda, the 20 rakat salah, and what to say loudly, inaudibly, audibly. This is coming by continuous practice, which is not recorded, and wherein there are no hadiths. So if a person leaves out the continual practice, wherein there is no shadow of doubt in it, and it cannot be classified as lies, if a person leaves these out, he will leave out major portions of deen, and he will not be able to now make out. Giving you one example, that if a person says no, I only follow Quran and Hadith, how he will make out whether to stand or go in ruku first or go in sijda first or last. But this he will not find in Quran, he will not find in Hadith, but he'll find in the tawatur amali, the continuous action which has been done by Sahaba Ikram, Tabi'in, Tabi'in, and this action was recorded, but not recorded as hadith, as saying of Nabi Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but recorded as tawatur amali, as recorded as a continuous action. That is why those people who say that we only follow Quran, Hadith, they are misled, because you cannot act upon the complete deen. Because if the person says I'm only acting on Quran and Hadith, how will he know what to do? Show in the Hadith whether he must stand, then go in the ruku and sijda, or audible, inaudible, the sequence of rakats, the number of rakats, the performance of the rakats, what to say in the salat. Completely, as I have stated previously, that complete deen lies in adherence to Quran, Sunnat of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sunnat of Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in, Sunnat of the Tabi'in, Sunnat of the Tabi'in who are pious and righteous and knowledgeable, and the Tawatur amali, those actions which have come down to us and recorded, not by way or classified as hadith, but recorded so that we know what to do, when to do, how to do, conditions when we can do it. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability that we understand the deen of Allah. And without proper tutorship, we unfortunately will be easily misled, because every other sunrise brings in another group that is proclaiming itself to be part and parcel of Sharia, whereas they are very, very far away from the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah ta'ala grant us ability to be steadfast on the sunnah of Nabi Akram sallallahu ta'ala alayhi salatu wa salam. Wa akhiru da'wan alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. 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 Alameen.